Good news, folks. Auntie Deb reached out, we apologised to each other, and the strike has been lifted from my channel. The other strike still remains, however, I won't contest it. I originally streamed that content during our bombshell live stream because it was public at that time, and we were commenting and criticising that stream. However, that creator then made it members only, which caused me to go back through our stream and piece it back together to preserve it for the record. So essentially I removed the parts that are fair use. So I'll let that creator have that strike, because it's fair. The other strikes that creator attempted to do were absolutely fair use. I have since notified YouTube and shown them evidence of that creator brigading against my channel, so hopefully they value their own channel enough to quit it. Intentional misuse of the copyright tool will cause their channel to be terminated, not mine. Of course, it still causes temporary disruption to my channel, so I still have to pay attention to what's going on, otherwise we're good to go. But the shenanigans are not over yet. Until yesterday, I had been protecting the source of the convicted SO predator information because she was terrified that this awful, vicious mob that has come after me would come after her. After watching us cop a pounding for a few weeks, she tried to tell people that it was her that found the information, because she felt bad that we were copping it. Where Abby ran to the other side so that she could be the stick-wielding player, Colours threw herself in it and admitted, hey, it was me, I found the information. But nobody believed her. They all made up their own stories that Colours had to be the same person as Shorty, and therefore Shorty must have known all along. Through their own scheming and idiocy, they forced Shorty and Colours to hold a live stream so that everyone can see that they're not the same person. Here's a soundbite from that stream, but there's a link in the description if you want to watch the whole thing.
I truly believed that when I released that information to Ozzy, that everybody would realize what the hell was going on and like chill out and like not be so crazy, right? I honestly believed that. I thought, okay, this will like everybody will see, like, because like in my brain, I'd kind of put all the pieces together that he was like manipulating behind the scenes, and I'm like, okay, I figured all this out. And I honestly thought that they would realize that, but then they like acted so bizarre afterwards. And I think it was like the bizarre behavior afterwards that people started noticing and making like assumptions or whatever, and there's a lot more like that shows those bizarre behaviors out that we have all these screenshots of.
You and me both, girl. Everyone who is using his stories and screenshots as weapons to tear down his victim should have taken a double take and thought twice about what they just did and who they were listening to. But as the comment on the screen says, it became a sunk cost fallacy. They'd already sunk so much emotional energy into coming at Shorty that there was no winding it back. Or as Emily D. Baker often says, you can't put the shit back in the horse. Shorty's entire stream was simply, here's what happened, here's the screenshots to prove it, this is how I felt about it, and this is the reason I had to document it all. Again, I threw the link in the description if you'd like to go and watch that live stream and learn what happened and meet Colours. But that's not why I'm telling you about it. I'm telling you because those people who harassed Shorty for months on end, relentlessly, were beside themselves with outrage that she had her own voice again, on her own channel, doing it her way. And so what did we wake up to today? A brand new X-Space by none other than Auntie Deb. Granted, I was not the topic of that conversation as I was in the last two X-Spaces. In those last two, Auntie Deb was at least mindful that Shorty had been catfished, but everything that transpired was literally my fault. In this X space today, the tables were turned on Shorty. Why? Because she had the audacity to expose Auntie Deb's communications with the pedo pirate, who apparently made a brief reappearance on X to post said DMs with Auntie Deb. I knew they'd been posted, but it wasn't my position to expose them. Auntie Deb knew that they'd been posted. If at all he wanted to address them, he had them in his possession, but he chose to pretend that they didn't exist, and so Shorty showed everybody instead. And well, it basically puts Auntie Deb right in the middle of everything, including the reason the pedo pirate cut Shorty off so suddenly. He had every intention of continuing to catfish her, but Auntie Deb's rant advising the pedo pirate that she's fake and she's an awful person and that she was manipulating him, blah blah blah, ends up being the very reason he cut Shorty off. And I know what you're thinking, because I thought it too. He probably saved her from a bullet. But once that information sinks in, you realise that Auntie Deb knew all along that Shorty was in quite a mental state, that his friends were leading the charge to push her over the edge, which he gladly loaned a hand with, and after all is said and done, he's been exposed as one of the main instigators of everything, including today's X space trying to push her over the edge. Why? For entertainment purposes, so that everybody can have a good laugh at Shorty's expense. Some might say that I did the same to Sean McDonough of Elf on a Shelf fame. However, I didn't make any claims about his mental health. What I showed you was Sean McDonough's own words about the reasons that he wanted to have Aidan Carney locked up for a crime he didn't commit. To hear his own admissions that if he was the one who was given the defence files, that he would have given them to the prosecution. Why? Because of his hatred for Turtle Boy. Otherwise, what I do for entertainment is mostly parodies and mashups. What you will not find on my channel is a single video where I'm making fun of someone's mental health, or getting involved in anybody's relationships, or trying to destroy marriages, or piling on to anybody who is at their wit's end or are a high risk of self-harm. Do you know what kind of people do those things? I'll leave a link in the description for you to go and watch another video where an expert will tell you what sort of people do those things.